Hey yo, what's the slide with my favorite people, the Chico Army? And if you're new and wondering about joining that crew, take the first step, subscribe, and drop the title of Viewer of the Tube. My name's Tyler, the host of the Crypto Channel, who will always be right here for the save. I'll never let go, Jack, 'cause it's time for Chico Crypto. The Night of the Living Dead, ghosts, goblins, and ghouls. A spooky holiday is right around the corner called Old Hallows Eve. So why don't we bring up the dead in crypto once again, the ghost town chains, the whale-driven zombies, and those that are completely dead, but computer trading keeps them alive. So if you haven't watched this video in which I dive into a comparison of ghost towns and ghost town chains, I would highly recommend it. It's a good primer for what's to come, but make sure to come back to this video right after you're done. Now, activity on the blockchain. It can be compared to two coins, the number one and number two, Bitcoin and Ethereum. There is a reason they are in those spots. They are the most active public blockchains. There is no denying it, and if you say your altcoin is more active, it's fake spam transactions. So looking at total transactions on both of the chains over time, Bitcoin has had the lead for a long time, but that was because Ethereum wasn't launched. Since Ether's launch, it took just over 2 years for total transactions to surpass Bitcoin. And Ethereum hasn't let up since, holding transaction supremacy over BTC, and lately the gap is widening. Checking out the most recent Glassnode Studio data, Ethereum is about 1.1 million transactions 24 hours, while BTC is about 322,000. Ethereum is about 3 times as active transaction-wise than BTC. So to check out the fakers, the chains that are spamming transactions across their chain, to look active, you just need to go to Blocktivity and sort by 24-hour transactions, highest to lowest. As we can see, EOS claims to have over 4.8 million transactions. Tron claims to have over 3.2 million. HBAR claims to have over 1.4 million. IOST on par with Ethereum, around 1 million. BSV higher than Bitcoin with over 864,000. I think you get the picture. No way in hell are these public chains having organic public interactions with them greater than Bitcoin or Ethereum. And the best way to tell, a good old Google Trends search, because if the public is more interested in EOS, Tron, or HBAR, Google Trends better show higher interest on there, right? Well, let's look at Tron versus Ethereum since the beginning of the year. As Tron says, it's 3 times more popular than Ethereum. Well, Google Trends tells us that is a lie. How about we add on HBAR and IOST, as they say they are either just as popular or right on par with Ethereum. Google Trends tells us that is a lie too. So these are what I like to call the whale-driven zombie chains. Fake spam transactions, usually by people behind the chain, and large whales make it look active, alive, but deep down inside it's dead. Little to no users, no dApps, and all their smart contracts are just Ethereum copy and pasted solidity. And the proof is in the pudding that they are all really just going the way of Ethereum. Evan Van Ness tweeted, "When zombie chain holders realize that their founders have stopped bothering to pretend." And it's a picture of a tweet saying, the first project listed on EOS VC is an Ethereum token, which you can use to purchase a course to learn Solidity. You can't be frunking serious, Brendan Blummer. So EOS VC was supposed to be the venture arm of EOS, supporting and mentoring projects built on EOS. But if you go to their portfolio, it's an Academy School token, which using Etherscan, we can confirm the token is on Ethereum. And visiting their site in the blockchain developer certification program, they teach you dApp building with Ethereum smart contract language Solidity. Yeah, I would be ticked off too if I was an EOS holder, which I once was, although just a tiny smidgen back during the 2017 hype. Damn you, Dan Lermer. But besides EOS's own love for Ethereum, these whale-driven zombie chains all have a hard-on for Ether. Why do you think Tron has a project now called Bridge Oracle, which first focus is of course a bridge oracle? I wonder to where all the action is happening, Ethereum. And then Unify Protocol is going further, trying to bridge Ethereum DeFi to Tron, but also Ontology and Harmony. Literally every blockchain in some form is trying to build a bridge back to Ethereum, zombies, and the alive chains alike. Bitcoin is, XRP is, Binance is, Polkadot is, Cardano is, EOS is, Tron is, Stellar is, Neo is, and if your chain isn't, I would be highly concerned. Although many of these competitors building bridges are not friends of Ethereum, but blood-sucking vampires. They don't want to enhance DeFi and cooperate with Ethereum. They want a one-way bridge where they take it for themselves for good. You gotta realize there are friendly bridges in the crypto ecosystem meant to be crossed back and forth at will, open gates, and there are unfriendly bridges, complexity, which makes it scary to cross, and waiting times, where you can't cross at will and have a period of lockup. So, the good bridges. Well, the Ren VM is proving to be a bridge of choice for Bitcoin to Ethereum and back. As we can see, the total value minted with the Ren VM is nearly 325 million in Bitcoin. That's a hefty bridge, which as we can see is over 27,000 BTC. It's the most valuable bridge in the space, and it's a good one. But it does suffer from the limitations of both Ethereum and Bitcoin. From this Ren Bridge in 3-box Medium post, it says, transactions on Ren can take about an hour or more, as it's necessary to wait for deposits on other chains to be safely confirmed before mining ERC20s on Ethereum. So nothing really Ren can do about that if they want a safe and secure bridge until base layer Bitcoin and Ethereum tech is changed. So the Ren VM and their bridge, it's very valuable because it's becoming the de facto Bitcoin Ethereum bridge, which is a highly valuable thing. But it's not the most used. The xDai bridge is actually pushing more transactions through it recently. Going to the xDai block explorer, we can see that the chain is pushing over 75,000 transactions per day. And those are real transactions, and a good chunk of them consist of crossing their multiple bridges back and forth. So what exactly is the xDai bridge and bridges? Ren is the power of bringing Bitcoin to Ethereum. What exactly is xDai? Well, it's the ERC20 bridge. Why would Ethereum need an ERC20 bridge? Well, if you haven't noticed, Ethereum is expensive as fizzunk, and xDai brought a stable, cheap way to enhance ERC20 tokens with their bridges. The DAI to xDai main bridge for the stable, cheap transaction token of the network. The xDai and the Omni bridge, which is bringing ERC20 tokens over to use the chain, and its stable, cheap ecosystem of payments, governance, DeFi, and more. Just a couple days ago, Perpetual Protocol announced they were choosing xDai for their scaling solution, moving over to the chain, and they said this about the move. Besides xDai, most candidates we considered had unresolved issues, such as number 1, no ERC20 bridge, number 2, not using Solidity, number 3, not supported by MetaMask, and number 4, not ready to use on mainnet. Then there is Foundation, which is a new e-commerce model, Unisocks inspired, which is building on xDai. Their CEO, Kayvon, on Twitter said this about his experience. L2 as a landscape is a fascinating mix of heavy bags, wishful thinking, and real progress. Since launching on xDai, we've fielded countless questions and corrected countless misconceptions. We're inspired to put pen to paper. Thought leadership blog post coming this week. I'm very excited to see what they have to say, as they have terminal built for their Foundation app, and there is already over 114 grand in volume sales of unique creator items, and it literally isn't fully live. Buying is open fully to the public, but selling is in limited test with certain creators. But soon, the floodgates will open. Now, things like Foundation, a full-fledged application, are not possible on other bridge sister chains, like Binance or Matic, as they are not ready and their bridges are not open. Eventually, they might be down the road, but as we know, the first mover advantage is huge in crypto. So most other bridges you see out there, other protocols attempting to connect to Ethereum, are not friends of Ethereum, especially if they're VC funded or centralized exchange backed. They want the liquidity and assets on their chain, and it to stay there. Now, if you didn't know, Gnosis recently chose to build on xDai too, and CoinDesk put out an article on this. I love what it had to say from co-founder Stefan George under the heading Preview of Ethereum 2.0. It said, all Gnosis products will remain on Ethereum for anyone that wants to use them there. George argues that xDai is a good place for smart contracts to experiment with lower stakes. In fact, he contends the whole Ethereum community should use xDai as a place to experiment. In a lot of ways, he believes xDai could also be a preview of Ethereum after sharding gets deployed and gas fees goes down, and that the future dApps will need to create an asynchronous logic in order to communicate with applications on other shards. And xDai allows this experimentation. They are friends of Ethereum, not foe. Vitalik has stated, if you were looking to test scaling right now, his three choices would be Ropsten and Goerli, two Ethereum testnets, although one of them is POA from xDai, Goerli. And finally, xDai, the only live playground with real economic consequences. And xDai replied to his tweet saying, we are happy to be a staging network with real economic value for dApps and ORL. We are committed to migrate to ETH2 as a shard or a state root snapshot when it's ready. Such migration of networks with value will be beneficial to ETH 1.0 to build confidence in the process. So, my friends, eventually everything will be connected to the main central hub of Ethereum, including everything mentioned, but success is going to come to those that realize this. Ethereum will be the integration hub, and build off of that. Plan for full connection with Ethereum 2.0. Those that have a thorn in their side trying to still compete, get lost. You will fail. That's my opinion. Cheers, I'll see you next time.